most beautiful sound in the world. Hey, what's up, guys? James from Junkyard Fox. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna be making a quarantine tag video. I'm out here just doing a little hike, and yeah, I picked the best day to do it because I just got caught in a little storm, and that's beautiful. When you're a desert dweller, rain is something to celebrate. So, guys, once again, I'm out hiking, and I'm gonna be answering some questions. Okay, so the thunder has died down. Almost. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and answer a quarantine tag Q&A. So I was tagged by two up-and-coming outdoor channels, Primal Wanderer and JungleBoy. So I'll have the links down below if you want to check out their questions and answers. So it's basically just dealing, how are we doing this, managing this whole quarantine thing? What are we going without? What do we miss? That kind of stuff. So I'll kind of keep this brief. So let's go ahead and start with question number one. So question number one is, how many rolls of TP do you have at this moment? Well, folks, I'm an outdoorsman, so I don't really use TP. I use cactus. And I mean, these things are abundant out here. So yeah, not an issue for me. I'm kidding. I don't know, I have like 8 rolls. I never dealt with any shortages here, so that's not an issue for me. Moving on. Question number 2 is, what has been the biggest change since the lockdown? The biggest change for me is just not being able to be out here as much as I wish I could be. I'm not very much of a social guy, so you don't really see me at clubs or bars or none of that stuff, to be honest. I'm just always used to being outdoors. I'm rarely home because I like going fishing and camping and hunting and filming, and all of a sudden it's like I used to be a free roaming dog, and all of a sudden they leashed me into the yard. So I love my home. It's a nice place. It's cozy, but I do get frustrated of not being able to go outdoors whenever I want, and having to deal with closures of hiking trails and lakes and stuff like that. So that's what I've been going without, is just not being able to get outdoors. Question number 3, where are you currently parked or docked? Well, I live in the city, so that doesn't really pertain to me. My house is still parked wherever it was before. I live in the city. I live in a house, so that doesn't really apply to me. Question number 4 is, what have you gone without recently? I mean, I would say that's very similar to question number 2. Just not being able to go outdoors. Really, that's honestly the only big change. Other than that, just the occasional, once in a while I'll go on a date or something, so I haven't been able to do that. Gone without a haircut, that's for sure. Yeah, it's been a couple months. So, yeah, if you've noticed that I've been wearing the hat a little bit more often recently, it's because, yeah, my hair gets a little out of control. Question number 5 is, what are you most grateful for? My health. Honestly, with this whole pandemic thing and this whole scare, I think it was a really good wake-up call for us to be grateful for what we have. And even if you may not have much, as long as you're healthy, that really makes all the difference. What good is money when you're dead? What good is anything when you can't walk, or you have breathing problems, that kind of stuff. So I'm grateful for the fact that I am in good health for the most part. So yeah, my health, I would say. I'm also grateful for these last couple of years that I've spent getting into preparedness and self-reliance and survival skills, because in these times that are uncertain, I feel like that gives me a little bit more comfort, that I know the edible foods and how to make shelter and purify water, and hunting, knowing all that stuff. So that as well. Question number 6 is, what do you miss the most? Once again, just being outdoors. I miss that. I miss being able to film and meet up with Cuervo whenever we could, and go have adventures, and all of a sudden it's like more frustrating being stuck at home and not being able to do that. Partly it's because I like making videos. Now, granted, videos make me money, so it kind of got on the way of my business, but also videos are my way to, I'm creative, and this is my creative outlet, and I like having adventures and sharing them with you guys. Hanging out with my best friend who's, he's a musician, and all that stuff. So that's what I miss the most, just being able to take road trips without any dealing once again with closures, like they closed this campsite and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what I miss the most. And once again, the outdoors, to me, the outdoors is my religion, basically. I'm not a religious person. I will never be a religious person, and we'll just leave it at that. I wouldn't even necessarily say that I'm a spiritual person, but anybody that's known me since, before and I was an outdoorsman to now, they'll know, they can tell right away that my life changed, did a complete 180 when I discovered the wilderness. All of a sudden I had focus, and I had something that was basically therapy. It's something that healed me, and all that stuff. So to me, not only is this being outdoors a fun thing and a way to make videos and all that stuff, but at the same time it's my church, I guess, for lack of a better term. So I miss that. There's quail out here. Can you hear them? Okay, getting back to the subject is, how long has it been since you've been to a campsite? If we're talking about a recognized campsite, it would be late November. Guervo and I went to camp over there in the Jemez Mountains in New Mexico, and we shot some videos there. The Mako 3-person tent review. What else? The butcher box cooking, chicken fajitas and stuff like that. So, yeah, that was the last time we camped in a recognized campsite. Since then, I've camped many times. I know these little nooks and crannies of the desert, nice little getaway spot. I've even camped on the side of my yard now with this whole quarantine thing. I don't know if you've seen those videos. Had a lot of fun. I filmed those as well. But yeah, November was the technical campsite that last time I was there. Question number 8 is, what is your favorite quarantine food? I don't think I have one. But I have been cooking a lot more because I'm stuck at home, and I do enjoy cooking, and I am a pretty good cook. I would go probably with tortillas. I recently made a video on how to make tortillas at home or when you're camping, and tortillas are so versatile. So whenever I make a batch of tortillas, they're useful for me for breakfast, burritos or tacos or fajitas. So check out that video. I'll post it up here if you're curious on learning how to make tortillas. And also green chili stew, my favorite meal pretty much at home. I've narrowed it, I've perfected my formula of green chili stew. Really delicious. Question number 9 is, how are you exercising, doing workouts? I'm not going to lie to you guys, I have gained like 9 pounds because I'm cooking a lot and just hanging out at home watching TV. And I really don't like working out. I'm a very hedonistic person. Whatever I enjoy doing, I obsess over, and what I don't enjoy doing, I don't like it. Now, the gym was a necessary evil, obviously, but since they closed the gyms, I really have been slacking it, so I need to get back to that. So, yeah, been slacking it. Okay, folks, so question number 10 is, who are you challenging next? We'll go ahead and skip that for now. We'll get back to that in a bit. But you guys know me, anything that passes through Junkyard Fox will be altered in some form. So I did make 2 extra questions that I wrote. Future channels can answer that if you wish, or you don't have to. So question number 11 is, what good has come from this? What is the silver lining? And everything in this world has a silver lining, even a global pandemic. So what have you benefited from, or what have you learned? What are you grateful for? What's the silver lining for you? For me, for example, the silver lining is this has taught me to be more consistent with my homesteading and stuff like that. Now, I live in a city, I live in an apartment, so there's a limited amount of things that I could do homesteading, but things like focusing on preps, on having emergency food, it really it kickstarted me for, getting back to that. I started growing a garden, something that I've been meaning to do for years, but I keep putting it off because I want to run out the door and have fun. So I'm grateful that it gave me time to stay at home and focus on these things. Been doing a lot more home cooking, obviously, so I've been kind of chilling out with, eating Burger King and stuff like that. Now, I still need to work out, but at least I'm eating healthier. So those two things are a little bit of a silver lining for me. Just look at that sunset behind me. Isn't it beautiful? Okay, guys, so let's move on to question number 12, and I gotta hurry because I'm being attacked by these gnats and they're so annoying. But question number 12 is, what will be different for you when things return to normal? What is changing? And I think that's something important to evaluate, is what will be changed? How will you be altered by this? I feel like if society opens up in 2 months and we return 100% back to our old lifestyles, then we are failing our lesson here. And what changes are going to be happening that will not be returning to the old lifestyle. For example, for me is my garden and homesteading. Now, granted, I live in the city, but there are changes that I can make. Like I said, my garden is in its stages of infancy, but I don't want to neglect it. If things open up in 2 months and I go back to just fishing whenever I want and traveling and having a good time and filming, then I'm not growing. And this was a good wake-up call, for something like a garden. Now, once again, living in the city, I'm not going to become a farmer. But if I can have, supplement my diet with things that I grew, a couple of jalapenos, some tomatoes, then I am on my way to being a little bit more self-reliant. It's not all about shooting rabbits and eating cactus. If I can grow something at home, that provides me a little bit more of a safety net. So, once again, like I said, I don't want to return to normal and just neglect things at home. Another thing is, guys, I don't really talk about my life growing up, but I grew up on a farm, and we used to have chickens and geese and rabbits and goats and all that stuff, and I miss that greatly. And I've been complacent because I have a nice little house. It's cozy, but it's time for me to start looking into getting some land. Because I've always known that I was going to return to that as I get older, but I've made no steps towards that because I'm comfortable. And comfortable's not going to get you anywhere. So yeah, I've been looking right now. Recently, I've been looking at land in New Mexico, little homes, out in the boonies where, I have a couple of acres. So if I can have a house, it doesn't have to be the nicest of houses, but if I can have a little house with a couple of acres and I can have a larger garden and grow some livestock, a couple of turkeys, some rabbits, a couple of hens for eggs, I think that would be ideal. Not only as someone who is a prepper and admires self-reliance, which of course that has to do with it as well, but also, because that brings me peace and I love being outdoors. So what's the point of me living in the city? So I'm far away from that. I'm not saying that, a week from now I'm going to live in a ranch, but I am making the steps towards that, and it is a hassle. It is going to deal with a lot of financial changes and stuff like that, but I think it's important because that's something that I want to do. Okay, guys, well, that's about the conclusion of this video. Nothing fancy. It's just something that, to pass the time and get to know each other, guys. So now it's time for me to tag a couple more channels. So I'm going to go ahead and tag my buddy Leo from Irish Zombie Nation. Leo, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. But Leo's usually my go-to guy when it comes to tag videos because I admire him and I really enjoy to hear what he's got to say. So Irish Zombie Nation is tagged. How about my buddy John from Wingman 115? I know you're busy right now, John, at work, but if you have time on your hands, you have a couple beers, let's go ahead and hear it. Also, my friend Joseph Russell as well. I'd love to hear what you got to say, my friend. And anybody else who maybe you have a small channel that I'm not aware of, you can go ahead and make your response video and put it down below in the comments so I can check it out. And that's about it for me, guys. I'm going to make my way out of here because there's a bunch of little gnats that just keep bugging me. And if you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And comment down below if you have any questions. And we'll see you guys next week with another video. Now go outside and get your boots dirty.